Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you, Penny Van, Gary.
Buddy.
Hello there, Denise. Crystal. Hopefully you got your chocolate tonight. How are you there, Chris and Barb? How are you doing?
Good.
Good evening.
Well, welcome, everybody. Round of applause there.
Hey,
So
Nice
we've
intro.
been working on commercials all day.
yeah. Wow. Pretty cool.
So we still got more. We showed the other one on the last show. We still got a couple more to go, and I'm working on. I worked on 2 more. I got 3 more to go. So yeah, we're getting them done. So
Good
absolutely.
job.
Hopefully everybody likes them. So
Yeah. Nice.
interesting.
Got to get everything to the Bigfoot Outlaw.
Yeah.
Transition over.
So
Mhm.
YouTube's actually already picking up the rhythm. So that's very interesting.
Nice. That's
yeah?
good.
So yeah, it's very surprised.
Good.
Welcome, Henry and everybody. Make sure you didn't Standing Stones. Nice to see you. So Standing Stones, hopefully you like that. When I saw Barb was like,
I was getting scared. What was on the?
I had to throw some dolls in there.
What I was gonna
Man,
look
but-
like? Oh gosh.
The worst to
Like
me
that
were
one.
the two little girls standing there. That's creepy.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen after that?
You know, throw a little something in there, good for a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit of
pretty good.
everybody. So
Yeah.
the police one for the crime one. Not that it was. We think about the crime one. Did you like that one, Chris?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I kept
that's
that kind of a little
perfect.
separate a little bit, but yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, but welcome everybody. So what's going on with everybody and what's new?
Well, I've been busy power washing my house the last few days. Whoopee. So yeah. What about you guys?
Working,
Oh,
and
Bigfootery.
then working. So
Yeah.
My Bigfootery has just been the audio work and helping with the intros a little bit, but I didn't go out last weekend, unfortunately, and hopefully this coming weekend. I've got a couple of busy things going on, personal, but yeah, hopefully get out there soon. But not much on my front, unfortunately, but you know, there's always good, fun stuff to talk about, so we'll find
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was out last weekend, but I have to go through my videos and all that and see if I got anything. I was trying to do a little recreation video of when I got like grunted at and huffed at that one time, and then I hit with the infrasound.
right.
So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I want to make it presentable, and you guys know that I'm technologically challenged. So
You're
but-
not the only one. I'm having computer problems too. Chris gave me a program and I got like over 10 gigs worse off. And I'm like, wow.
wow.
Yeah, right. So I got this other thing. I'm going to manually go through there and clear off some RAM. If not, I'm just going to wipe it and start from scratch because it's not an old computer. I do so much, with the programs and in software. I guess I just get a lot of tag-alongs, I guess. So
Yeah.
My suggestion also to you would be maybe get rid of Norton's antivirus. I don't know if you have that as a paid for, but the
I paid
Microsoft
for
one
it.
the one that comes with your computer, Microsoft, it's got one that's built in that's pretty dang good. I mean, you really shouldn't have to pay for something above and beyond. But Norton's has been known to slow your computer down. So
Oh my gosh, that's for sure. Ugh.
yeah, I've had
That
it in the
really
past, and
is.
I've had to fire that one in McAfee.
Yeah, exactly. Fire up your
Yeah,
laptop and drink a pot of
Mhm.
coffee while you're waiting for it to come up,
Yeah, like I told Chris, I can't share stuff, I can't play stuff, and I never had that problem. So, welcome, Liana.
Well,
So yeah, I had to figure that out. So, the LBL, I have a lot of reports coming in, and they told me not to share where. I said, all right, whatever.
yeah, well,
And but I'm like, what are y'all doing? Are y'all like on one ridge banging pots and pans, and y'all like listening or something? And I mean, they are like literally getting chased out down there.
really?
And I'm like, what are you doing? And I can't help it. And one guy, I'm like, you did not. He's like, we put peanut butter on our shoes and walk through the hills. I'm
Well,
like,
you're
you're
asking for,
joking.
weren't you?
He's like, we
Guess
didn't
that's
think
better
it was
than-
going to work.
Oh,
I'm like, you
Better-
did what?
Better than pig attractant, I guess.
So and I was like, he's like, well, we ran without our shoes off. I was like, what? Back to your all's trucks? He's like, yeah, we took them off and ran like hell.
Really? Whoa. So what's happened to them?
So
That
I have no idea. So I asked him, I said, what are y'all doing down there?
Yeah.
He said, we're not doing nothing. He said, we're just going down there to investigate. He says, we get in there, and he says, just like we heard the other night, they get growled at. And I'm like, well, don't growl back. He said, we don't. We're too scared.
Wow.
He said, we already know better. I'm like, why? He said, we done it before.
Are they like
Tell
bluff
that to
charging
Greg.
them? I wonder. Do you know? Did they say?
They said it sounds like a herd of elephants coming in, but they can't
wow.
see nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, what happens? He says, well, one run, they all run.
Don't have to be the fastest, just don't be the slowest.
Right,
So,
right.
And I was like, I said, did y'all really put peanut butter on your all shoes? He said, well, 2 of them did. And I didn't. He said, I was too scared to. I said, let me guess. I said, you took off your shoes too when they ran. He said, yeah. He said, they did. I did too. I didn't ask. So I said, you didn't have peanut butter on them. He said, I forgot. So
That's a
I never thought about that.
place.
I was like, now I did stupid stuff deer hunting when I was young, but I ain't gonna get into that on the air. Hey, welcome, Lady Wolf. So
I wonder how long it goes before it's all wore off of your shoes, but depends on how much you put on there, I imagine.
I don't know. I'm not gonna ask if they sniff them. So,
Gene,
but I mean, I wonder how long that stays on there. I'm like, you know, I mean, you done seen that guy on Facebook, right? Looking through his thermal, and he about crapped himself when he saw Bigfoot do the spider. He didn't know what the hell it was.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that on Facebook?
That's creepy.
Yeah, he didn't know Bigfoot can do that. Now you see a Bigfoot, right? 6, 8, 9 foot tall, you know, 600-800 pounds. How do you think it could spider crawl? I still can't figure that out. So
yeah, was that the one where, or was that a different one? Because I feel like I've seen 2 recently. There was one that it almost looked like they said it was a juvenile, and it was like it almost looked like it was sliding down the hill. But then somebody else said no, it was actually like doing the spider crawl.
Spider crawl, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oof, coming after.
So I don't know, but you know, I didn't ask the guy. I almost said his name. Sorry. I hope he's not watching. Whoa, that would have been bad. Welcome, Flat Rock.
A friend of mine, Brennan Daniels, who we had him on the show, like one of our first shows together, Grizzly, and he saw one about, I think he said like about 10 years ago, I want to say. He said that was the creepiest thing he ever has seen, and he never wants to see it again. He just couldn't believe how creepy it was. It was like almost demonic, but they have been known to move that way.
You're crawling like a spider. I mean, that's creepy enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had a guy, this is 2024, it was 2021, that was walking along the Appalachian Trail. And I think it was the episode I accidentally deleted when I was starting the YouTube channel, when StreamYard was teaching me how to delete episodes, and I deleted the actual ones, the shows instead. And he took a bunch of pictures, and he was just taking them randomly like people do, right? And he actually took pictures of 2 Bigfoot in the position of a spider. And he actually showed them on the air, and it was not blob squatches. They were actually Bigfoot, and they were pretty good pictures. I would say they were probably about 6.5. And he quit going in the woods. It scared him that bad.
Wow.
And these were probably not even 20, 23 feet away, if that. And he didn't even see them.
Wow.
And these were not photoshopped or anything. And you can see them spread out. And they were right there in that little gully. And it's just like he didn't even see them. And he was just walking, just taking pictures. He heard the branches. He heard something follow him, but he just couldn't see them. And that's why he was looking up, not down.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's insane.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed this past weekend when I was doing that filming is that, and I felt like I was hearing a lot of, like movement, maybe like 20, 30 feet away from me. But, you look and there's nothing there. Right. And when I went back and reviewed the video, I could see like what definitely looked like them, like here and there peeking at me. I think that the only thing I can think of is that they don't realize that I'm actually maybe taking a video, they think I'm not paying attention because I'm talking and I'm like looking at the ground and stuff, and that's the only thing I think. So it might be something that people can try if they're trying to get video. Is almost like you're not really, like paying attention. I don't know. We'll see. But
I know people try different methods and it works. But my thing is, what is it with the LBL?
Oh,
in that vast, I have to research some Flat Rock. What is the square footage or the square miles down there with the LBL? I know somebody knows. I don't even know, and I should know that.
Yeah, I feel like we looked at, and there part of it could part of it be, that they have some areas that where people were removed from, or
yes, because they flooded it, remember?
Yeah, and that, would that be? Oh, Thomas is saying 170,000.
So, and and I know there's places that people don't go, right? Because there's places that we know, Flat Rock knows, and other people, War Criminal knows, Greg knows, that we don't discuss where they go. That's off the trail, and they get encounters. But these people are going not that far off the trail, and they're literally getting chased out. Just like Greg said, they got right off the truck, or right out of the truck, didn't they, Chris? Yeah. And they even get all their equipment turned on, and they're already getting zapped and growled at and barked at or whatnot. 170,000, so
yeah, that's what I see. Which turns into 265 square miles. That's a lot of area.
Yeah, Henry is saying that too many people feeding them at the LBL. Could be.
So, and that's like, well, yeah. I'm brave. I would not put peanut butter on my cheese. Don't get me wrong. I did laugh when I was told that. At first I thought it was a joke, but you think about the meet and greet, right? And because we put stuff in that dumpster when we left, I would have loved to have a camera set up across from that dumpster, see what visited. I'm just curious. Besides raccoons and possums, so
they've been known to dumpster dive.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So, but
and there's all kinds of things in there too, supposedly. Right?
What do you know? It's just
what do you guys
strange?
With you being there, Grizzly, do you think it's like they say dogman, Bigfoot? What do you think?
Hey, BF Bud. Hey. Well, and that's one thing I want to know, because a lot of people go down there a whole lot more than I do, right? And so, let's say like Gary and I, right, and Thomas, is if everybody heard what they think was a Bigfoot, as many as people were down there, that tells me that there is a present. Welcome, Dry Bay. Where have you been, by the way? I haven't seen you in a while. 1,700 or 171, 280,000 acres. Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, because there's, 43,560 square feet in an acre. So that's a lot of square footage.
Mm-hmm.
But, there has got to be a small population down there, because, we know approximately between us three, probably up to 20 people on a regular basis that probably go down there. Is that not fair to say?
Yeah.
And now these 20 people, they all have encounters on a regular basis.
Yes,
constant. And they all do not go to the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. And it's like Thomas, see, I've seen one near camp. So
was that a Bigfoot? Did he see it?
They think it was. And then they don't know if they saw something white that night that Mike and I was down there by the fire where Flat Rock was sitting next to the picnic table, where everybody ran into the woods with flashlights, gonna damn near doing lynching mob on whatever the creature was. So, yeah.
Torches and porch picks.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell they were going to do if they caught up to the damn thing.
Yeah.
Scream and run the opposite way. And they didn't have a net. So, but I don't know how this is possible. Now, whoever works down there, they have to know what's going on. There's no feasible way they don't. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
So, is that watched by, do they have like a like park rangers.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they have people that work down there. I like to go down there as a hillbilly, just as a tourist, and try to get somebody to talk. I think that may be now. I know I ain't going to mention their names. That tried it. They tried that. I think last year before last, and they got shunned pretty hard.
Yeah,
but you get them. Sometimes you get lucky though. Every once in a while, you'll catch one that'll
right. And then that's what I'm saying. Now, if I have to pay somebody, I may, fill their pockets full of green. But I want to know what's going on, because they got to know. I mean, somewhere, because even Greg said they had people on their production team, film team, that didn't believe in this stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll go out and film." And like, hell with you, screw you. I didn't know this stuff was real, and they quit.
Yeah.
And never came back. So yeah.
Hey, Bigfoot bud. Yeah, that's
so. But I mean, that's just crazy.
What about the energy? Like, what kind of energy did you sense there?
Oh, I had back pain. So, but I mean, the energy I felt was everybody else's energy, right? Because everybody was all around.
Excited, right?
Yeah, Thomas was real excited. He was like, yeah, he was like, he was amped. I mean, when a twig break, he was like Yosemite Sam. No, I'm joking, Thomas. He was prepared, though. I'm sorry, Thomas.
He said you make some awesome eggs.
I do love cooking. I ain't gonna lie. Man, we had so much food. I mean, we didn't even have the stuff I brought.
Oh my god!
So yeah,
wow.
He is bacon, though. They say bacon brings them in.
Yeah, they do say that.
It brings anybody in, really.
Thomas to the table, that's for sure.
It's got to be, I mean, they say that they love to watch humans. When Barb Shoop, she goes on her camp outs, with they always catch them kind of like, they'll see them peeking at them and so they love to watch us.
Well, sometimes they say the best action is when everybody else goes out hunting and searching. You stay back at the camp by yourself, and you'll never know what kind of creeps in.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. There's there is something about the LBL. There's got to be. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I've thought about it ever since I came back. Thomas, you gave me bad mental pictures when you said that, by the way. So yeah, you sure did, Thomas.
So you gotta explain that one now.
Yeah,
I'm not going there. Okay. Go to permanent undeveloped areas. Yeah, that's right, Dry. But that's what I'm saying. But can you imagine not knowing anything about these cryptids at all, and you're visiting the LBL, and this stuff happens to you? What the hell would you think?
I'm out.
Yeah,
you probably think it's bear, but unless you saw something.
Do they have bears down there at the LBL?
I don't know.
Thomas,
I would
Flat
think,
Rock,
but I don't know.
Anybody?
I would feel like
I don't know if they do or not down there. Do they? I forgot to ask. We'll see if they comment in the section.
I mean, those
Thomas says yes, they do.
Yeah,
says yes, there are some black bears.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys did you have to, protect your food from bears? Do you know? Did they?
Oh, no, I didn't think nothing about that. Well, we had, what's a URD? Then don't tell me that's another cryptid down there. I'm not prepared for that, Flat Rock. No, my cooler is insulated. So, yes, he said, wow. So, I didn't even think about that. So, yeah.
And they didn't have any bear-proof cans there? Or I guess they're using dumpsters.
Food was delicious. So, I don't know. But I didn't see any.
Yeah, what is Erd? Everybody wants to know what Erd is, Flat Rock. Tell us. Yeah, because usually if there's a problem with bears, they'll be like in the Smoky Mountains and other places that, they'll.
I wish I would on that. Yeah, because I didn't leave food out, but I put everything back in the cooler, whatever we didn't cook or when I was done cooking, I, wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't have his glasses on. I got the
Oh,
same
it's
problem.
okay.
So don't
Yeah,
worry
oh, yeah,
about
for
that.
sure.
I think he meant.
Yeah.
I think he meant yes and mistyped it.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they're
well,
all right next to each other there on
you
the
got it.
keyboard.
Yep. Yeah, and then
Gene
you can't.
Hudson says there was a slaughter on that land. There was
Yeah.
a native tribe,
Oh.
almost tragedy happened on
Mhm.
land. That draws the things best left. Oh, okay.
That makes sense. Yep.
Right. No, lady. Well, if we haven't even got into the paranormal, not even talking about the orbs, EVPs, all that other stuff, then we haven't even talked about that subject. Greg even just barely touched it on the show the other night. So you're right about that. That's what I'm saying. And even Greg said with everybody else, you can go down there and no matter what you film, you got a plethora of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the trash cans are bear proof. Yeah, they did have a bar on it, didn't they? But yeah, they didn't say the Sasquatch. So, white lady. Now, if I saw a white lady down
it doesn't
there,
work on Sasquatch.
Oh man. Yeah, what is that with the white lady? Ooh.
That's a scary paranormal thing, I think.
I'm gonna get you a trash panda hat. And get you on the show and let you wear it. I have one original one somewhere back from the 70s. But no, I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind going back down there. But I don't know, can you camp anywhere down there or do you have to check in somewhere?
I assume if it's a state forest or national forest, you probably have to check in. You have to have reservations.
So, I mean, I don't know. See, I'm the type would just go somewhere and just pitch a tent and be like, the hell with it.
Yeah.
I mean, does somebody come around and check you or something? I don't know. She frequency 7 and that would freak me out.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Oh my gosh.
Did you see anybody working there at all? Like any kind of rangers coming through or?
No, I just follow the signs. Nothing? Well, of course it was rented where we were at, right? So
yeah.
I guess they had permission, but the other locations, I guess you would check in the visitor center, I reckon. I don't know. But it's just that. So like when I went down to the conference last year in Maysville, right? I'm going back this October. That was the other side of the LBL. So, and you saw how big the LBL is, right? 100 or 200, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Red Hollow, thank you. You have to pay where it's private. Privately owned. Okay. But so that's what I'm saying. Look how vast that is. So it's, I don't know. It seems like no matter where you go, you're going to get something evidently or eventually. But I would be enticed to go down there for a week at a time and see what happens if I could last that long without dying.
Why don't you get one of those cabins I sent you? That they were like $100,000 for how many acres it was, and
I saw that
a nice cabin. Yeah, that's crazy in the LBL area.
Oh,
yeah.
So you mean
I don't know if it's the surrounding area or if it's within. It's probably the surrounding area, but
wow, yeah,
I don't know.
Oof.
So, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like to have more people's encounters or stories that frequent down there on a regular basis. Now, the ones that I talk to don't want to talk about it. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't want to come forward with their stories or encounters. That it puzzles me. I want a new hunt too, or new haunt. So I don't know. I need to ask them. It's just, and we can hide your face. You don't even have to show your face. You can stop your camera. You don't even have to put a picture up, right? So change your name. Whatever. So I don't know why. I don't know if it's the embarrassment factor or they just don't. You don't have to give the location. We can just say the LBL or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody's going to go down there and go to the same spot that you're at.
Gary
have been ridiculed too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah, that really is.
Hey guys, tomorrow, you don't want to miss the Grizzly and our show tomorrow. We're going to have a guy that actually helps people, that have witnesses that have had traumatic encounters. And so I think he's going to give us some tips and how to handle it. But I just think that's really cool because it's something that is very necessary.
Sort of like a Bigfoot psychiatrist, huh?
Yeah, I don't, and
Little
I
bit.
know that he was in the, was in the army, I believe, and so he, so has dealt with PTSD, with patients with PTSD, and so so he really wants to, because it's a need, because we know how it affects people so badly when they have these traumatic encounters.
Absolutely.
If your son would talk to us or me or any one of us, we would be more than happy to have him on the show if he would entertain that. Because I like to learn more about the people that go down there, and maybe also to go down with whoever and maybe film some interaction and not give the location if he's up to filming. Just throwing it out there. So
he has not had any visitors.
Right. So, but that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'll throw it out there, and that's for anybody. My
maybe that he
schedule's
hasn't
open.
known.
So, yeah, you're on it. Yeah. My schedule's wide open. I don't mind traveling. That goes to anybody. I was going to go out to, what was it, Missouri, on that one incident where Bigfoot shut down the interstate. If we could validate that, we never did, remember?
That would have been interesting.
And we had somebody from that state contacted us, and we couldn't validate it. So
yeah,
I don't mind doing it. But no, I would, because there's a curiosity, and whoever's watching, you know who I'm talking about. We talk on the side, and we know some stories are fabricated. It happens, right? Because people want to get their names out there. I dig it. I understand it. But the people we talk to are, we know it's legit. And Gary Knight was down there. Thomas was down there. Greg was down there, and other people, Flat Rock, and guys, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 70, 80 people down there hooting, hollering, and screaming, and just carrying on like good old folks, and still got all that activity. So, and especially when I saw that orb, I was like, and that orb was probably 70 yards from me. I thought it was up on the hill, and it was actually up in the bend, because the cemetery, you got to go up the hill, go around the curve, then go up, because I saw it in the dark. And Greg's like, oh yeah, that was a fast acting orb. You ought to see the long acting ones that dance.
Wow.
And and he films all that stuff. And I was like, wow. So, but cool. The phenomenon down there is just off the charts. Now, I don't know what I'll do if I heard a dogman or seen one. I'll probably be Yosemite Sam. So we need to meet new people and see old friends. Yeah, absolutely, BF Bud. I'm down with it. It's only 3.5 hours from where I live, so it's no big deal. See the cemetery? I didn't even film enough. And, you have all this equipment, you don't even think about it. And then you get home, you're like, what did I do? Not enough. So, right?
Waiting to see the white lady ride her bike through the cemetery.
No. So, but I think Thomas says the oldest cemetery he found up on the hill from Colson's was, I think, 1850 something. So,
wow.
And Gary's, it's 12 hours drive from him.
Oh, well, that's quite a drive.
But but like I said, a couple of days a week, it don't matter to me. I'll bring enough food for whatever. So,
wow.
I just got to make enough room or rent a trailer to get it. If I get a trailer, I got to go get a hitch. So I can do that.
Yeah.
That's 170-year-old cemetery. There's a lot that happens in
270 cemeteries. And then who said about it being underwater? Many are underwater now.
Yeah.
And you just wonder what that does.
From the levees or the dams they made that buried the cities. Something shady happened there, you think? Something weird.
I mean, that would lend, to this bad, whatever, juju, whatever you want to call it, going on.
Absolutely. Well, that, and history don't tell you everything, right?
No, that's for sure.
And like Gene Hudson said earlier, or whoever was it, Gene, talking about stuff that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Or Lady Wolf, or whoever said the comments, but yeah.
They chained it
But
on the Indians.
yeah, but like I said, there's something down there. And when Greg talked about it, and I talked about this other people who had put peanut butter. I mean, who in the right mind? So if you're watching, I love you guys, but I mean, what would you? I mean, they had to plan that.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do?
Oh yeah,
peanut butter and sheeps.
I don't think that was a whim.
But anyways,
Yeah, and what
so
like
y'all
what?
be proud of me. I didn't play any jokes when I was down there.
Yeah.
I wanted to. You should saw Mike's face and Thomas. Thomas leaned up off his sleeping bag, and I was like, "It's Rod Moorhead's time." And Mike just leaned over, started laughing. Tom was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it."
Oh,
Almost did, but I didn't.
Y'all should have done it. You should have done it.
Oh,
Next
it was
time.
so quiet. It was so quiet.
Ron Moorhead himself says don't do it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Might have got some activity.
If you're going to do it, that would be the place, the time to do it when you have a bunch of people there. But
My luck, I would have had an angry, pissant group of Bigfoot come down, destroyed everybody's tent, and a war would have happened. I would have went down in history.
Yeah.
Of Grizzly ruined the first meet and greet in history, and I've never been forgiven. That would have been my luck.
Ron Moorhead would speak at the memorial, like I told them not to.
Yeah, I know. I told Grizzly several times not to do it.
Don't do it.
So
wanted action, you got action.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
That's interesting. JFK and designated the Inland Peninsula. Huh.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
So
to look up.
Oh, I'm
more
sure
about
he
that.
knew.
Yeah. You think? Probably. I mean, yeah.
Come on, Daniel Boone shot one. I mean, they've known about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But
so what's interesting, you know how you had your little stick figures, right? Mm-hmm. These small little sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else on Facebook had the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Why are they using little sticks now?
I don't know. I thought that was
glyphs.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like little sticks. I'm talking like little bitty branches.
Yes,
not
and they're
like the big thick ones.
Woven around, kind of just all flowy. I don't know. Does that mean something else, to them?
Because when I first saw it, I was like, shut the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, something that let's see if you did go okay.
Yeah, thanks, Leon.
Something cool that I came across. I was on a little sticks are the babies practicing. Well, that could be. Yeah.
Kind of think so too. We find them in the swamp all the time. Just little bitty sticks, and they're shoved sometimes 6, 8, 10 inches into the mud.
Yeah.
I don't care how straight it fell from a tree, it wouldn't land as deep as they.
You're not going to have
crazy.
Yeah, you're not going to have that many little sticks, like you said, in an area shoved down into the ground.
And we'll find multiple in an area. It's usually not just one. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Remember a couple of shows ago, everybody in southern Kentucky are finding these sticks in the ground. They don't know what's causing it.
Yeah.
So, and people still reporting or mushroom hunting. They don't know what they're like. We don't know. And we're like, we know. So they're like, people don't come back here. So, and these are like 5 to 7 inches in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bizarre. Did you guys see that on Facebook? I think Val Gumshoe, he had it on his page, that tree that was twisted, massive tree, like twisted around and around and around and around, like holy mackerel, the force. I think
I've seen that.
To do that, like
just to keep twisting it.
Whoa. Yeah.
No, I think last year I thought it was Macho Man, and I tried to twist a tree and it smacked me in the face. Yeah, I was like, the hell with that.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No, and that's
Sprung
what
right back at you.
Yeah.
When you see these, when you see these, these wood structures and you're like, this might not be, and then you just try to mess with any of those, try to pick up some of those trees and those branches. It's like, oh, they're a lot heavier than you think.
Oh, remember that old show, the ginseng people in Appalachia?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that show is like 8 or 9 years old, right? And they're showing reruns again, and they're funny or all get out.
Yeah.
And this one guy's in the woods. He's like, I think something's watching me. And he's trespassing. And I've seen this like a dozen times. And some reason I looked. And I'm like, oh, B. And right behind him is a big X. I've never seen it before.
Oh, wow.
He's like, you get a feeling something's watching us? I'm like, yeah, I think something probably is watching us.
I turn around. See
There's a big X. And this thing's like
telling you go
in the air. And I'm like, that is not humanly made. I mean, it's just like, I don't know how I ever missed that. And nobody, I mean, it's just plain as day right there.
Yeah,
it's funny the things you pick up on, right?
Yeah, and because I don't think I knew about X's back then when we watched it.
So it's just right there, and he's telling the cameraman, "I don't feel right."
Oh wow, I love that show. Oh my gosh, that was.
I forgot all about it. I started watching it one time. You were telling me about it, and I never did follow through and watch them. You'll have to send me that link.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was just such a great show.
Yeah, I actually called that Bill Hammond guy when it first come out. And he answered telephone. I was like, I just want to say hi. He's like, who's this? It's like Grizzly.
Oh, wow.
And I was, I just want to make sure this is the real guy on TV. And he's like, I wish people quit calling to see if I was real.
Wow.
Is it you know, when they filmed this building, it showed his telephone number.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was just curious. I was bored.
Wow.
So he answered the phone. So yeah.
That's funny.
But that was funny.
I was watching a video, caught my eye. You know, Steve that does the how to hunt videos, and he always has the people that call in or you know, call in or email in and make reports. Well, this one was about Fort Lewis, which is it's about maybe 20 miles as the crow flies from where I'm at. And so that always interests me. And Grizzly, that's that place where I think that Derry had told us that it was a sanctuary for Yeah. So, you know, and I was like, I don't know. That's pretty cool, you know, but listening to this from Steve, oh my gosh, all the reports of people that were stationed there. He said he has like miles long, you know, papers with people that have made reports. So Fort Lewis, it's an Army base that, let me see, it's 9.1 miles south of Tacoma, and it merged with McCord Air Force Base in February 2010. So now it's JBLM Joint Base Lewis McCord. It was built in, no, that's not right. 2017, that's not right. No, it's 1917. And it's 87,000 acres. So it's really, really big. It's a mix of dense like conifer woods and prairie pine lands. And so some of the reports was from 1966, February, a witness was stationed at Fort Lewis, and he was on survival training in the Nisqually River Basin with 4 other men. They decided to go fishing, because they go out there for days at a time. They decided to go fishing, and they saw a large creature kneeling in the water, and it turned and looked at them, and it stood up. And then that's when they realized, like, what is that? What the heck is that? Then they said it turned and just went into the river and easily swam across the river. They watched it. Then it crawls up the bank, turns and looks at them again. He said that it turned its complete body, which is pretty cool because that's what we hear, you know, because they don't like turn with their head. They'll just turn their complete body. And it walked off. What really got to the witnesses was the way that it moved, like bipedal, just like a man. They said that they stood and watched it, and it watched them for like 20 minutes. Can you imagine? Before it actually walked into the forest. They said, let's see, it was about 8 to 9 feet tall, reddish brown hair, covering most of its body except for its face and its hands. Its head was rounded like a human's, and it did not have a neck. It appeared, it did not, they didn't see the teeth, so they don't know it didn't bare its teeth or anything, so they're not sure. What?
I thought you was talking like Meet the Fockers. Teeth.
No. Let me see. And what else? Its nose was large and flat and broad, and its lips were its mouth was large, its lips were large, and they were protruding. They said not once did it show any aggression, but it seemed like it was more curious than anything. They all just were amazed at how human it was. Then in 1978, another witness that was also stationed at Fort Lewis was on aggressor detail on Mount Rainier, which is also in Pierce County. He went off from the others just to like get a smoke and grab some can of food out of his backpack. And as he's leaning over, getting the can out of his backpack, he felt like that feeling like something's watching him. And so when he looked up, there's casually this big, large creature just standing there, like leaning against a tree, watching him. And so he said that, let's see, the creature, he thought it was a younger Bigfoot because it was very tall and slender. It had the reddest eyes that he could ever imagine. But he didn't know whether the eyes were bloodshot or if they were actually, or red, because I'm thinking maybe they just were red, and who would know that? The witness said he felt that the Bigfoot was in an area where there was a large patch of lush green moss. He never told anybody about it because he was afraid that they were going to either, declare him like mentally ill or, and kick him out. But he years later, he decided to kind of, come forward and make his reports. There was another one from November of 1989 that was on the base. The witness was running a field exercise with his engineer battalion. They were about 1 mile from the Nisqually River. And that is where, the first group had seen that Bigfoot. That swam across the river. They had built a 3-rope bridge across the river for the rangers, and the night was clear. The moon was very bright. The witness and his buddy were crouching down in a foxhole when they noticed that something was like kind of peeking at them. And it was only about, hi, Greg. It was only about 25 yards away. So they had a pretty good look at it. And it scared them so badly. They didn't know what they were looking at. It was a 7 to 8 foot tall human walking slightly hunched over, and it was making a low grunting noise. It had slightly musky odor that wasn't too bad, but it smelled to them like a wet dog kind of. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. They did tell the squad leader, who basically laughed at them. And afterwards, they were always teased about being, the Bigfoot hunters. A few years later, the witness's sergeant came forward, I guess when, everybody's has been, left the service, and had told them that, had verified with them, that their story was true, and that Fort Lewis has a whole company of Bigfoot living on the base. That he said that there's about 70 at that point. So this was back in, 1989. So there was about 70 or more scattered around. Occasionally one would be shot dead by like a scared E2, but mostly the sightings go unreported. And when they're shot and killed, that's not reported. They were told that, that they're only supposed to shoot at one if you are in a defensive manner. They were told that, there is a large contingency and it was constructed to protect the Bigfoot population and no effort was ever made to rid the base of them. So, he didn't know were they put there or were they there, prior? Because Derry had said that it was a refuge and they would bring in injured ones there. So who knows? Let's see. The witness said, this was interesting. The witness said that reports that people say that Bigfoot don't die, he said that that's ridiculous, that they don't die, they just become invisible or they disappear. He said that is ridiculous because he had helped remove a dead one who was shot in 1988. It was 8 feet tall, male, and it was the strangest corpse that he had ever seen. It had been shot many times, but he couldn't see the features plainly. They had it kind of covered it up with a tarp and loaded it on the back of a truck, which was also covered with canvas, and just off it went. They were ordered never to talk about it. Everybody that was involved with disposing the body. The base is massive, and there's a lot of like civilian roads that go through it, but everything is lined with like big like barbed wire with the razor wire on the top,
right?
And it's creepy as heck to drive through that area. It's just really, really creepy. They say that much of the there's a lot of dense forest vegetation that's just impenetrable. And I think probably a lot of that is because we have the Himalayan blackberries here, which are just like they're impossible to get through because they're, just full of thorns. And so yeah, and there are parts that that are off limits and no one is allowed. And they don't even actually a lot of the people that are stationed there don't even know about it. So the next witness was a staff sergeant of the military police that was stationed at Fort Lewis. And this has happened. His encounter was in the spring of 1984. It occurred at approximately 0300 hours. He had been called to investigate a disturbance in a tree line near the post stockade. The bars had been closed just before the calls, and the concerned party said he heard a disturbing noise in the tree line and wanted somebody to check it out. And so the guy goes and he's thinking, oh, this is going to be, some like drunks or whatever, But when they got there, he heard they could hear like extremely large, like crashing through the bushes, the thick foliage. The witness said he was too young and stupid to be scared, and he felt that he was well armed against anything, that he might encounter. He met up with a canine unit and some other MPs, and so they said they were going to go one way, and then the others were going to go the other way with the canine unit, and they were all going to back up at a railroad spur. He then had heard this like about 5 shots, he said. And there was and right after that, there was like this screaming, like deep guttural screaming, which kind of like transitioned into this high pitched, like howling. So they thought, well, okay. So they just continued on to the rendezvous, the railroad spur area where they were all supposed to meet up. And his captain was already there at the meeting point. And he asked his captain, did you see anything? And he said, no, I didn't hear anything, but they all heard that noise. So they waited there for a while, and then they decided, well, they're not sure what's going to, what had gone on. So they were just going to leave. I think they were trying to call on the radios, but there was no kind of responses. So they weren't really sure. They were about to leave, and they saw movement along the tree line at the edge of the meadow. And it looked like they thought it was a big bear. So they held up their weapons. He was ready to shoot if need be. And as the creature began to walk toward them, then they caught sight of it, and the witness realized that it wasn't a bear. He said he could see the creature pretty well because he was only about 25 yards away from it. And now it was becoming like there was like the early light from dawn. So he could see it pretty well, but not completely. And he said it just stood there and looked at him when it saw him in a kind of a non-threatening manner. So he lowered his weapon and he didn't fire upon it. He remembered that the head was slowly like moving side to side, but when it looked at him, it kind of, again, that bot like turned with its whole body, versus its neck. Wow. It didn't come any closer. They all started, they all just like stared at each other. And that was for about 2 minutes, which that's odd too, that they would just all stand. Now I'm thinking, was it injured? And it was just kind of, I don't know, like in shock. Then it slowly moved away, and it only looked back twice. He described it as it was covered in short, dark hair. It was about 8 feet tall, massive shoulders and upper body, no neck. Let's see. He couldn't see the facial features, and it had like a bullet-shaped head. So that was like the cone head. He said it was probably about 500 pounds. He said that the witness said that later on, about a few years later, he had met Andre the Giant. Remember Andre the Giant? And this creature was significantly larger than Andre the Giant. Like, wow. Yeah, right. Then years later, this gentleman went to a Bigfoot museum, and where they were playing calls and audio. And there he heard the exact same thing that he had heard that night. Then there was one more. There was a civilian report from 1976 where a couple was driving through. They had been camping in the area, and they decided to get out just to like relieve themselves, and they saw inside the fence, though, they saw this large creature just leaning against a tree and looking at them. And so they were like, oh my gosh, like it's standing there. It's not doing anything. So they're like, we're going to get a picture of it. So they go back to the car to get the camera. And then of course, when they got back, come back to take the picture, the creature was gone. So, so interesting. And I do know a guy that one of my friends, Gary Cooper, that he had a sighting there. So I'm going to see if we can get him on the, if we can get him.
Is that the one that we had on the show before?
No, I've never had him on the show. Yeah, he doesn't like to do shows, but I would love to get him on the show.
There's a guy, Gary. I don't know whose show he had on, was in the service. I don't remember which base he was on. He had a witness or encounter. They shot him with truth serum.
Oh,
and they separated him with his friend on the base. Did you remember that show?
It wasn't my show, but I remember listening to it.
Remember? Because
that one.
Yes, and they interrogated him.
Maybe you and Justin. I'm trying to think.
I don't remember who it was, but he didn't come forward until his later. I mean, way older, and I haven't talked to him probably 8 or 9 months. So I don't know if he's still around. I need to check on him and see if he'll come back on the show, because it was around, I don't know if it was that base or not, but because the base knew about it, and the chef, one night he was coming back, was dumping food out by the woods. And he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Feeding my friends." He's like, "You know about him?" He's like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Don't you tell nobody." And the guy was feeding them leftovers.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
And he was sworn to secrecy, and he was afraid he was going to lose his pension and everything.
Yeah, that's what all these guys say.
Yes. They took him to the hospital, shot him with truth serum, separated him, interrogated this guy for hours.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yeah.
So, and he got
go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
He got the honor flight to Washington, D.C., I think, last year.
Oh, wow.
For his whatever war. I think he was a World War II veteran. I'm not for sure now, but I know he was up there in age. And,
wow. Yeah.
For his years in service and everything. But his story was just like off the chart, and he finally came forward. And the people on the base knew about it, and the military knew about it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
So
yeah, because that's what they say, that they took them, the ones that were injured that they found after Mount St. Helens, they supposedly took them, there.
Oh, everybody told me I was nuts. I'm like, and everybody was like, "Well, show me the news articles." I'm like,
"You think there's going to be news articles?"
Go to WHAS and pull up the archives. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like, "Can you prove it, Grizzly?" I'm like, "Yeah." Can you prove angels exist?
Right. Exactly.
So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't. But anyways, I think his name was Gary. I mean, but he told me, he was like, he couldn't lie underneath that truth serum. He said he tried.
Oh.
And he said no matter what they asked him, he said the truth came out. He said it works.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, that is wild, isn't it? Like,
so I think his name was Gary. Gary something. I have to look it up. But yeah, I think that was that base that he was on. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful base.
Yeah, his name is Gary. I just sent him a message. Hello. So let's see.
I wonder how many of those Bigfoot are actually employed by the base.
So, it's just, we said on the last show, we were talking about Bigfoot in, I'll just say it again, our government. There is a reason why they're not telling us the truth. And I know it's not the technology's off the chart. We know they have it. Yeah. There is a reason why they're not telling us the truth, because number one, we're not going to be able to understand or facet the reality of it. That's just the bottom line. Whether we are the aliens and we are the experiment, there is something that the reason why they're not telling us. Yes, weaponized something. Yeah. They're not telling us.
Yeah.
I don't care about religion. Okay. It's worse than that. That's why we're not telling us. But I don't know what it is. I mean, we can talk about the DNA study with what's her name on her website. We brought that up too again. I don't think he's been active for a while. I'll see if he responds. He usually goes, last time I talked to him was June 14, 2023. So we'll see if he responds. I sent him I won't say his last name, but we'll see if he's there. But if he is, we'll see if we can have him on a Wednesday night show and have them tell us. I mean, it's wild.
Wow.
But it's just crazy that the military knows. And,
Yeah.
you know, just like the LBL, people down there that works, the Fish and Wildlife, the park rangers, whoever works for the state, they got to know. You know, I want to get, if you're watching this show and you hate the state, contact me. If you got a vendetta out for the state of Commonwealth Kentucky and you want to weaponize it and go against, contact Grizzly. You know, I want your story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, just like Barb said before, though,
Grace, like they do. They do. Look at them.
They'll threaten that pension, and that's how they compartmentalize.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, you can't. Yeah. What are you going to do about that? That's, you know, yeah.
But I do. I want that story. I want that. I want to hear that person just to come out and be like, they killed that guy, that little Jerry. You know, they took him, because it happens. I know damn right and well it happens in the state parks. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if they acquire DNA for Bigfoot and crazy.
See, that is a good point that I wonder.
So here's the deal. We know Stalin tried to clone things from gorillas, right? Back when, and try to interbreed. So, I mean, can you imagine if they had the technology today? I mean, that's off the charts.
Yeah.
So,
it's like Jurassic Park all over again.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, so just like if Hitler had the technology today, and that's what I'm saying. So there's no telling what they do. Now, they have records, supposedly, that they already are growing humans to harvesting organs for transplants, you know, and that's, they can't do it in America because it's inhumane, right? But other countries, they can. But
not that you know of.
Yeah, exactly. Not that we know of.
It's documented. Yeah.
No, we're saying that.
Yeah.
That it might not
be. I'm sure there's plenty undocumented.
We just got flagged, but anyway. Yeah, we'll change the subject there. But that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy. You know.
Have you guys heard of? Have you heard of this cryptid? A black imp. IMP. A black imp. I've never heard of that.
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's. You know, and I'm like, well, they sound to me like a variation of a Bigfoot. And they're found on Mount Shasta in California, and they're like, they call them like guardians of the mountain. And they're big black beak creatures that are vicious and protective. They said that they can they have powers, supposedly. This sounds like infrasound, powers of infrasound that can debilitate people, you know, that are in areas where they don't want them. And I'd never heard about it. It's like it's a strange,
maybe one and the same.
That's
who knows?
But supposedly the tribe, you know, that is indigenous to that area has said about it. So
I want Robin Hayes to come on record and tell me about the dogman DNA.
Yeah,
I'll never forget her facial expressions when I asked that question. I wonder if it's the same thing as Bigfoot.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Ooh, Tom Snoop.
So
you guys who are on a kill team. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's just because when we got in that debate about Mount St. Helens, and I made a comment on one of the shows with a very well-known person on not National Geographic. Why did that come up?
History Channel?
One of the popular channels with all the Bigfoot shows.
Okay.
Discovery.
Travel? Okay, Discovery, yeah.
Yeah, no, Travel. Whatever. Travel, I think it was Travel Channel.
One of those two.
Yeah. And he was like, can you prove it? And I was like, dude, where are you at? Where you been?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a lot of things you can't prove, but I'm telling you, it happened because people saw it.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to call the guy out on it, but it did. And because people came forward and they're like, we didn't know what the hell it was flying over in helicopters and these cargo nets, you know?
Yeah.
So it was. And
do you guys see that video of, or I think like a short video of this, and I don't know if it's AI though, but I feel like it was too long ago to be of them. It looks like it's a helicopter that has one hanging by its feet.
And see, that's the thing now. It's hard to go now to look at that because it's been so long. It could be fabricated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's
Mhm.
really, because any video now, it would have been VHS, it would have been grainy and stuff. So now it's hard to say it would. So I agree with you on that. Melba did an interview with Steve from Facts
Steve.
How to Hunt, but had to join the show to see
Mhm.
pay a month. I don't mind paying anything, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
down with that. But my question to Robin is, because she is supposed to be involved with her on that study, and they have dogman DNA. And I asked her, what was it and what is it? And she got real quiet.
You know what, too, Grizzly? I don't think that they have, they can't really say yet, right? Like, because these studies take years, before they release the
Bullshit.
details. But
No, they
Bullshit.
don't. No, they don't.
I can
No.
read minds.
you have to,
They don't.
but
They-
you can't just like be like, this is what it is, because she got so much crap from from the DNA, Bigfoot
I
DNA.
understand her process. I understand her reasoning.
And then you have to have peer reviews,
But
so
I understand what she wants to do with her. I was just curious.
yeah.
But anyways,
Well,
I know Lady Wolf, but my
Hopefully
thing
it'll-
is that when I realized everybody else talked about it 5 or 6 years ago about the study,
Mhm.
it kind of shook me up a little bit, is because it brought the biblical reference in for me.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
made me stop and think about my reality and what I understood, and it's all false.
Mhm.
And everybody's understanding about probably about the realm, about understanding Bigfoot, is not what everybody thinks it possibly could be.
Mhm.
And I'm still open to everybody's ideas and their beliefs, but
Mhm.
good luck, you all. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's all.
Yep.
But yeah.
Mm.
And like I said, you go to Melbourne's website, it's all out there. If
Yeah.
you know how to read DNA and the strands, and her published works is out there. I'm not a scientist or her DNA specialist, but it'll make you
Oh,
sweat.
so Lady Wolf is saying that it was a mishmash of things, similar but not exactly. So Lady Wolf must have seen some more information on it. I
Kind
haven't.
of like an experiment.
That's
So, good night, Thomas. We're wrapping
night,
up here a little
Thomas.
over, but
Yeah.
we're not encroaching anybody's channels tonight, so we're fine.
Yeah.
But but it's interesting, right? Because DNA doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And we look at our DNA, and this is one thing I watched on, I forgot which channel, and I'm real big into science, is that we have a lot of junk DNA that scientists cannot explain. Now, one thing I found fascinating, we'll end it on this note if y'all want, is that how old is our universe?
Who knows?
14 something billion years old, right? They approximate,
That's what they say. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Who knows?
Now, if
God
you
knows.
add up our DNA, how old is our DNA?
Mhm.
14 something billion years old in each of our body. Explain that.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
is unexplainable. Now, that threw me for a loop. Scientists cannot explain that. In each of our body, if they undo the sequence, they can now, and add up all the DNA sequence, they can age all of the DNA back to creation.
Mhm.
That is fascinating. How is that possible? How is that possible?
It's cool when when you have your DNA
Look
done,
at Lady Wolf. Exactly.
like your the origins, like, and my origin was Africa and my husband's was Asia. Now that's exactly what the Bible talks about. I think that's so cool.
But I'm talking about the age of creation.
right.
When I first watched that, I had to go back and look at scientific published data to make sure this program had their facts straight. Because I'm like, that's not feasible. There's no way. Because if we can carbon date stuff on Earth, right, within whatever, I'm down with that. But each body is like, how can they do that? And it was right.
Yeah, you got to
couldn't
backtrack
believe
it because Discovery Channel even puts on mermaids is real, so you got to definitely fact check
So
it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. And I didn't want to say it on the air, but God or something evil did the engineering out. So I'm just saying. But it was pretty wild. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating. It really is.
I believe
But
that.
and we said on the last show, somebody said God is real. I'm like, well, yeah, God's real, right? And if you don't believe in that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But God created, heaven and earth and all creatures. whether it's seen or unseen. And it says it in the Bible. And that's even cryptids, whether you believe it or not. And somebody said that. And yeah, you can say it. I don't blanket or mark anybody on my show unless you're just cussing nasty right and left. I don't mark you or block you.
Yeah.
But and this is why I said if her DNA is accurate, which I'm not saying it's not, because how can you fluke it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we have cryptids. How else can you explain it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How else can you explain it?
Gosh, we wish we knew, right?
Everything.
Like,
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could not create it. Man cannot create dogman.
Well, we can play with DNA, and I think that's where people are crossing
But
the line trying to play God.
How would you, without the genes, do that?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be created prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're manipulating. You're not creating from scratch. Yes.
Yeah, that's what 100%. I'm saying. And then it just blows your mind.
That's where I have a hard time, like with someone trying to say, we were created with a big bang or something like, like from an amoeba. It's too intelligent. All of this is too intelligent. So I don't know. I have a hard time with, Well,
somebody asked me, we came from monkeys. And I was like, show me in the fossil record, we came from monkeys.
You're right, Lady Wolf.
It's never been proven.
And monkeys also built the pyramids and Machu Picchu too.
It shows in the fossil records that there's some skeleton remains that we assume, right, off a tooth. That I don't know my Jurassic periods or human fossil records, but people existed off just a couple of pieces of teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So, or a piece of jawbone. Gigantopithecus, they didn't realize it existed until they found a tooth and a piece of jawbone in China that was being ground up as medicine and being sold.
Wow. Isn't that
so, go figure, and I didn't realize that until I was studying, how humans evolved. A lot of us, they assumed how we erected.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have fossils records on all of us. Look in 2013, 2014, or 29. Forgive me if I'm wrong about the hobbits. Mm-hmm. We thought that was a myth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they found them in a cave that
just
existed.
A different
giants
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we can go on and on all night. So hopefully everybody has a good night. And he says Bill Gates right now is too playing God. He's playing on his farm, I heard.
Yeah.
So my uncle and his dad had his family, his DNA check came back that there was 3 to 4% Neanderthal. I can't even talk.
Neanderthal, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Crystal, the pyramids are way older than what they are. Yeah. The Egyptians just took them over and put their bodies in them. So I agree
same
with
thing with Machu Picchu and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are clues out there that lead our history to show that it's not what we thought it was. I mean, that. And what you're saying is 100%. I mean, just like the dinosaurs, there's a lot of dinosaur skeletons. You go to the museums, they had found a few pieces here and there, and then they fabricate the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even with carbon dating, because that only works if you're assuming that that whatever you're finding, if that environment is the exact same as it was. We know like with that the climate changes and things get flooded and then things have droughts and so that again that's assuming that the dating is accurate and so
right.
It's so many mysteries of and maybe we'll solve them all here someday.
Yeah, Barb, I appreciate you sharing those stories. Those are great stories.
Absolutely.
That was nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sure. No problem. I just thought that was so interesting. And of course, with it being so close to me, it makes me think like, I'm sure they can get out of there if they want to, I mean, they could rip that barbed wire apart. So, I don't know.
They work for them.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. We'll catch you on tomorrow. Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.